everybody. Hope that you're having a good week. My cold is gone, but I have to say I'm still really tired this week. This has been like a really busy stretch, and I do have my coffee though, so hope spring's eternal. I've just been kind of trying to hang in there. It's gotten a little bit better. I had a deadline at the end of last week for an article to submit some edits and revisions and for it to appear in a December issue of a journal. So it was tight, but it went really well, and I'm excited about that and very relieved to have that off of my plate, but some new things have taken its place. And so that sort of gave me the idea for the topic I thought I would talk about this week, which is I was going to title this Parish Involvement because I was at the worship committee for my parish last night, but I think it's broader than that. I think we're going to sort of lump that into a larger umbrella of getting involved in new things. And this time of year makes me think about that. It's November, so that may not necessarily connect for others the way it does for me, but to me, I'm thinking about November, and I'm thinking, because I live on an academic calendar perpetually since I work at a university, November for me as a faculty member, things start to quiet down. Not for the students, which I feel a lot of sympathy for because I remember that very well when I was, having all those paper deadlines and exams at the end of the semester. But for us, as a teaching librarian, the beginning of the semester, September and October for the fall, really busy. In the spring, it tends to be February and early March. And, so it's that's like the really tiring, stressful part. November, things wind down a little bit. You have some time to kind of take a breath and think about new things that you'd like to start up, especially leading up to the holiday break around here because it's, again, with the academic calendar, a lot of people take off between Christmas and New Year's, and, it's just dead around here. And so before the spring term starts, you can really get a lot of other things done and maybe write something or do just something new and interesting and creative. So in November, I start to think about that because we're coming up to that time. Things are slowing down. I'm thinking about the holidays and about what I'm going to cook for Thanksgiving and what I want to buy for people or make for people. I mean, I started thinking about that back in the summer. As you all know, I'm kind of nuts about that Christmas in July thing with regard to crafting. But now I'm like in the really intense stretch of knitting and crocheting and creating new things. And it's just a really pleasant time. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is to say that I think for people, depending on your personality, it can be overwhelming, intimidating to really jump into new things, whether they just be trying something new, like with a craft or something of that nature, or getting involved in a new activity because now you have a little bit more free time. It can be difficult to do that. And so I was thinking about this, like I mentioned, with my parish and the worship committee. And, I think maybe some of you are familiar with this phenomenon, those of you who are Catholic and belong to a parish that has been around for a while. There's definitely a vibe in my parish. There's like two contingents. And there's a contingent that have been at that parish for a really long time. And they don't necessarily want to change the way that we do anything. I'm sure it's like that at other churches too, or other types of organizations, same thing. And it's hard if you do want to be involved. It's hard to kind of find a toehold because the same people are usually active and just hold perpetual memberships on the parish council. Like I didn't even know our parish had a parish council. I still there's nothing ever in the bulletin about joining. Nothing. It's occasionally you hear people mention that they were at a meeting and like, oh. But it's it's the same people that have been doing it for a really long time. And so it's hard, right? Like, well, all right, so I'm working up my courage with my introverted nature and I want to try to get involved because this is something meaningful to me. And so how do I do that? That's hard. And so when the worship committee option came up, I jumped on that. We have a new pastor who's been with us since Ash Wednesday, and so he wanted to try to do some new things. The parish council still is not changing, but there was a couple new committees, and so I went to the worship committee, and we talk about decorating the church, different liturgical options for the special seasons, and planning some additional events like for November, a Mass of Remembrance. For this meeting we just had last night, we talked about the Feast of Christ the King and Advent. So it was really nice to be able to feel a part of things. I almost didn't go. This is an introvert thing. Do you all know what I mean? I'm home and I'm in my comfortable clothes and I don't ever want to go anywhere. I was tired. It was a really long day at work yesterday. I had a long meeting and I had a reference shift. And then in between those things, I had just a lot of things small things that I had to attend to that came up all at the same time and rather unexpectedly. And I was just exhausted when I got home, just emotionally drained. And I thought maybe I should just stay home because Mike and Henry had to go to play rehearsal. So I had Anne and I had to take her with me. So I thought maybe I'm just gonna stay home. That's not gonna hurt to miss one meeting. But I ended up, this is one of those things with getting involved. You have to really keep yourself motivated. If you allow yourself like that little bit of slip to slide back into the comfort zone of home, it's easy to just the next month not go either. So I went, and I'm so glad that I did. We had a great time. Anne was excellent. She just colored in her Frozen coloring book and was a very good girl, and talked about some really interesting things. I'm really excited about what we have planned for Advent. And Father Joe really listened to everybody's suggestions. We read out of this liturgical source book for ideas, and he wanted to know what we thought. And so we gave him our ideas. He really liked them, wrote them down. We're going to do like a Bambinelli Sunday where the kids are going to bring in their little baby Jesus from their nativity set to be blessed. And we're going to have a blessing of the Advent wreaths. And obviously you do that for the parish's Advent wreath, but you can bring in your own personal Advent wreath and he'll bless them with a rite of sprinkling. And then he had some ideas which are different from the way that we've done it in the past. And I'm sure that that'll be disconcerting for some people because they always like it to be the same. But we all loved his ideas, and so we're really excited about it. That bringing more reverence and silence into the church for Advent and how to actually enact that. And we were excited by his ideas. And so I was so glad that I went. And sometimes that's really what you need to do is to keep up your resolve to stay involved when you do push yourself to do that, which is not an easy thing all the time. It really isn't. There's different types of social interactions and such that go along with it that can be, I'd rather be at home with my tea or my beer or whatever. And so I have to really stay motivated to do that. And so I was trying, and it worked out well. And so coming up, sort of on this theme, but talking about future video posts, in terms of getting involved in things, I'll be talking about audio things again coming up. I have not had any time to work on podcast stuff because I've just been too busy. So maybe this will be a project for the new year, but hopes does spring eternal. We're coming round to that same thing. I do think this is going to happen. It's going to take me a little bit of time. And I'm gonna keep plugging though. So I'll be talking about that, and I'm gonna be doing a few new things coming up. So I'll give you all the deets, but I'm going to be on a radio show and I'm going to be on a guest on a podcast. I'll give you all the details coming up, but that's all coming up within the month. And I've got some fun dance stuff coming up and some interesting dance stuff with a Catholic twist in a positive sense, I would say. That I could talk about in a future video, and my dance posts. I've been talking about that a lot lately in my written posts. Those get the most hits. I'm just saying, people do seem to enjoy reading about it, and I enjoy writing about it. So I think I'll talk about that again in a video. So some really interesting things coming up, and if that's something that interests you, and so you've ever thought about picking something up in your adult life as an avocation, whether it be one of the performing arts or something else, you can apply this, I think, to a lot of things. So let's brainstorm. How do you feel about getting involved in new things? Is it difficult for you? What types of things do you do to motivate yourself? And what are some new things that you have started recently, or you are looking to do? Write in and let us know, and I'll talk to you all next week. Thanks. Bye.